Hello and welcome to Be Still and Know, and today is another video on health and sacred knowledge, and it's on the benefits of growing your hair, why I am choosing to grow my hair and let it grow out long. And so there's a few reasons why I decided to grow my hair long, and let's go over them really quick. So the first reason why I wanted to let my hair grow naturally for a while is to give it a rest. My sister's been cutting my hair for years, and she says that there's a spot right here in the corner, right where the hair parts, that is starting to thin out. And so I was kind of getting worried about that, and I wanted to give my hair a rest and stop cutting it so much and see if maybe letting it grow would help it to thicken up a little bit and start taking some hair vitamins. So that's one of the first reasons why I started letting my hair grow out. And that was also during No Shave November, so it was really easy because I was already letting my facial hair grow, and so I let it go. But then that led to another reason. So curiosity, why had I never let my hair grow before? Well, actually, I had grown my hair once before when I went to Massachusetts for a semester, when I was doing like a semester exchange, and I didn't know anybody there, so I was like, I'll let my hair grow. Who cares? I don't care how I look right now. And so I actually let it grow out that whole semester. But when I came back, I went to a store here in town, and this woman at the register at the Home Depot actually thought I was a woman. She's like, "Oh, sorry, ma'am." And then she was like, "Oh, you're not a man. Ma'am, you're a man." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she said, "Wait, are you a man?" And she got really confused because I'm so pretty. Look at this face. I'm so gorgeous. But she confused me for a woman, and back then I was so insecure in my own self and my masculinity and who I was as an individual. And this was when I was like 21. And so I got so embarrassed and so ashamed that immediately, like the next day, I went and cut my hair really short. And so that was like the first time I ever tried to grow it out. But ever since I was a little kid, my dad was in the Marines, and so I had these really short flat top haircuts. So I kind of just went back to having a short haircut for a while. But now this last year, during the pandemic and No Shave November, I was like, let's see what it really looks like. I've never actually seen what it looks like. This is actually longer than it was when that lady confused me for a woman, which is crazy because it's not that long right now. And to think I'm a woman, but I guess I'm just so pretty. Like Muhammad Ali, he said he was pretty. All right, and then the next reason that I decided to kind of let my hair grow was to save money and also the hassle of getting a haircut. Like I said, my sister cuts my hair, and just to try to organize a time to meet up with her and have her cut my hair, because she has 3 kids, she has a full-time job, she's not a hairstylist anymore. So just trying to get the hassle of trying to meet up with her, and then she's not always in a great mood after work and stuff, and so I don't know, she's my sister, so she'd be kind of aggressive sometimes. She'd, slap my head around and, jerk me back and forth. So I wanted to save some hassle, some energy, and some money for a while. And then the next reason that I started to think about, like, well, now that I'm growing my hair, what are the implications of having long hair? Historically, I'm a history major in college, and I really loved history, so I started looking at some of the historical implications of having long hair and the history of hair. And throughout history, conquered peoples have always had their hair cut or shaved. And so an example would be like Genghis Khan. When he conquered peoples, he'd have the women cut their hair really short and have bangs in front of their head, because supposedly the bangs blocked out sunlight from getting to the pituitary or the pineal gland and all these different glands in your head that are supposedly, they help you function better and give you like this sixth sense or whatever. And so they would have them have bangs like this. So Genghis Khan did that, and then when the conquistadors in the 1500s came over and conquered the Native Americans over here in the Americas, they would also have them cut their hair. That was something that they immediately did. They would shave their heads when they enslaved them. Columbus did that to the Taino peoples of I forgot what island it is modernly called now, but it's called Hispaniola back then. But they've always shaved people's heads during the times of the Indian boarding schools, when they would take Indian kids off the reservations and take them to try and eradicate their culture and steal their identities and force them to learn English and only speak English and only write English, and they made them cut their hair short. That was the first thing they did, was they took their beautiful long hair for the boys and the girls, and they would make them cut it short. And so that is something that helped to eradicate and colonize that culture. And I was just basically tired of colonizing my own head, basically. So that's why I decided historically that it was something that, as a person of not only descent from those Native Americans, I think that it's something that it's very important to me as a person to realize the historical implication of having short hair as a Native American descent, and to know that that hair actually has a purpose, which leads me to my next reason for why I decided to let my hair grow long, which was the spiritual implications of having long hair. Okay, so long hair is not just something that's cosmetic. It's not just something that is about your looks. It actually has a very important biological and spiritual meaning to it. So hair is a natural extension of our bodies. It's like antenna or feelers. It requires energy to produce, and your energy is sapped more when you cut it. It helps regulate your body's energy, physical functions, hormones, and glands. Having long hair can increase your energy, your awareness, your sensitivity, your confidence, and your sixth senses or intuition. So something that I started looking at was, how does this hair biologically affect us? So one thing it does is that it actually is like cat whiskers. Okay, so if you know about cat whiskers, if you ever cut a cat's whiskers short, it actually throws off their balance. It throws off their ability to measure sizes when they're trying to get through small openings. And so because of that, it actually messes them up really bad when you cut their whiskers off. And the same thing with human hair. When you cut our hair, it actually takes away a lot of our intuition, a lot of our sixth sense. So there's been a lot of different things throughout history and different cultures where they have studied that kind of effect. So one of the ways that I looked up, and I want to kind of read some of this article that I found, was on Native Americans and the implications of Native Americans having long hair. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit of this article. So the article says, our hair fashions, it's called The Spiritual Nature of Hair. Our hair fashions might just be a trend, this is a quote, but if we investigate, we may find out that we have been depriving ourselves of one of the most valuable sources of energy for human vitality. And this was from Yogi Bhajan, and this was a famous yogi that knew all about the secrets of hair and hair spirituality. So consider the possibility that the hair on your head is there to do more than just look good. Man is the only creature who grows longer hair on his head as he grows into adulthood. Left uncut, your hair will grow to a particular length and then stop all by itself at the correct length for you. From a yogic perspective, hair is an amazing gift of nature that can actually help raise the kundalini energy, or the creative life force, which increases vitality, intuition, and tranquility. So in the Indian, from India tradition, those kind of Indians, so the thing about the word Indian and Native Americans, some people still call themselves Indians. So it's not really a pejorative to talk about or to refer to Native Americans as Indians, but you have to know the distinction. But Indians from India, they believed in the kundalini energy, and that is the energy that is from Mother Earth. It's from the center of the earth, and it goes all the way up, and it comes through the base of our root chakra all the way up our spine, okay, and it kind of stops around our solar plexus and heart chakra. And the yogis from the past believed that when you had your hair long, and then when you curled it and wrapped it into a bun and set it on top of your head called the rishibun, that the sun energy from the sun actually it's like it enhances your antenna and your strength of your receiver, and it gives you more sun energy, which goes down through the top, which meets the kundalini energy coming up from the earth, which then causes you to have like a oneness or a fullness, and you become whole. And a lot of people meditate to try and reach that point of enlightenment and wholeness. But without the long hair, it's really hard. So that's one thing that I'm starting to look into, is maybe I can start letting my hair grow out so I can see if that affects my kundalini energy and my vitality and my strength. Also, when you cut your hair is constantly, growing, because your body wants to always, replenish what's been cut. If you're cutting it all the time, your body has to constantly put more vitamins and minerals into making hair. So that's another reason why I want to stop cutting my hair for a while, so I can get some vitality and see if that will help just with my general energy and mood. Okay, I want to read a little bit more about this. about the cut hair and enslaving people. So, cut hair. Long ago, people in many cultures didn't cut their hair because it was part of who they were. There were no salons. Often when people who were conquered or enslaved, their hair was cut as a recognized sign of slavery. It was also understood that this would serve as punishment and decrease the power of those enslaved. The bones in the forehead are porous and they function to transmit light to the pineal gland, which affects brain activity as well as the thyroid and sexual hormones. Cutting the bangs or making bangs which cover your forehead and impedes this process. So, like I said before, when Genghis Khan conquered these women, it's the next paragraph. When Genghis Khan conquered China, he considered the Chinese to be a very wise and intelligent people who would not allow themselves to be subjugated. Most, even men back then, had long hair. He therefore required all women in the country to cut their hair and wear bangs because he knew this would serve to keep them timid and more easily controlled. As whole tribes or societies were conquered, cut hair became so prevalent that the importance of hair was lost after a few generations, and hairstyles and fashion grew to be the focus. So over time, people kind of forgot that hair had a purpose in the past, and that ancient indigenous cultures had long hair for a reason. So let me go on now to another part of this website, and I'm going to link this website in this article to the description of the video. But I just want to talk about now Native Americans and why they would keep their hair long, and actually how science actually proved that long hair actually gives us sixth senses. So let me read this article really quick. Okay. So this is an article about a woman named Sally and her husband, who was a licensed psychologist. And it says, in the early 90s, Sally was married to a licensed psychologist who worked at a VA medical hospital. He worked with combat veterans with PTSD, and most of them had served in Vietnam. Okay, so one time, it says, Sally said, I remember clearly an evening when my husband came back to our apartment on Doctor's Circle carrying a thick official-looking folder in his hands. Inside were hundreds of pages of certain studies commissioned by the government. He was in shock from the contents. What he read in those documents completely changed his life, and from that moment on, my conservative middle-of-the-road husband grew his hair and beard and never cut them again. What is more, the VA Medical Center let him do it, and other very conservative men in the staff followed his example. As I read the documents, I learned why. It seems that during the Vietnam War, special forces in the War Department had sent undercover experts to comb American Indian reservations looking for talented scouts, for tough young men trained to move stealthily through rough terrain. They were especially looking for men with outstanding, almost supernatural tracking abilities. Before being approached, these carefully selected men were extensively documented as experts in tracking and survival. With the usual enticements, the well-proven smooth phrases used to enroll new recruits, some of the Indian trackers were then enlisted. Once enlisted, an amazing thing happened. Whatever talents and skills they had possessed on the reservation seemed to mysteriously disappear as recruit after recruit failed to perform as expected in the field. Serious casualties and failures of performance led the government to contract expensive testing of these recruits, and this is what they found. When questioned about their failure to perform as expected, the older recruits replied consistently that when they received their required military haircuts, they could no longer sense the enemy. They could no longer access a sixth sense. Their intuition no longer was reliable. They couldn't read subtle signs or access subtle extrasensory information. So they lost their telepathy, their ability to sense things coming. So when in nature, animals, they have the unique ability to hear, but they don't just hear, they feel vibrations and they feel energy. And humans can do that too, apparently, through our hair. So the Testing Institute recruited more Indian trackers, they let them keep their long hair, and they tested them in multiple areas. Then they would pair two men together who had received the same scores on all the tests. They would let one man in the pair keep his long hair, and they gave the other man a military haircut. Then the two men retook the tests. Time after time, the man with the long hair kept making high scores, and time after time, the man with the short hair failed the tests in which he had previously scored high scores. So here is a typical test. The recruit would be sleeping out in the woods. An armed enemy would approach the sleeping man. The long-haired man is awakened out of his sleep by a strong sense of danger, and he gets away long before the enemy is close, long before any sounds from the approaching enemy are audible. So it's not sounds that they're hearing, they're feeling it. It's the sixth sense, the energy. In another version of this test, the long-haired man senses an approach and somehow intuits that the enemy will perform a physical attack. So he follows his sixth sense and stays still, pretending to be sleeping, but he quickly grabs the attacker and kills him as the attacker reaches down to strangle him. So this same man, after having passed these and other tests, then received a military haircut and consistently failed these tests and many other tests that he had previously passed. So the document recommended that all Indian trackers be exempt from military haircuts. In fact, it required that trackers keep their hair long. Okay, so it's an amazing thing that even our own U.S. government, they hide everything, but even our own government figured out that our hair has special abilities. It's actually part of our nervous system. It's an extension of our nervous system. And so the mammalian body has evolved over millions of years. Survival skills of human and animal at times seem almost supernatural. Science is constantly coming up with more discoveries about the amazing abilities of man and animal to survive. Each part of our body has highly sensitive work to perform for the survival and well-being of the body as a whole. Okay, so those are the spiritual and physical and health implications of growing your hair. Okay, so that's part of the reason why I want to grow my hair. So another thing that you can do now that you might be wanting to grow your hair as well, now that you've heard my spiel on why it could be a good idea too, is follow some tips, some food tips, eat some foods that will help your hair grow better, and also some care tips. So here are some foods that will help your hair grow better and faster. Yellow peppers. Okay, so yellow peppers contain vitamin C, which is an antioxidant that strengthens the hair shaft and hair follicles, as well as prevents breakage. Oysters. Zinc deficiency has been known to cause hair loss and poor scalp conditions, and oysters are loaded with zinc. Also, you could take a calcium, magnesium, zinc pill at night, which is what I do. It helps you to not only sleep better and get more rest, but it also helps to help your immune system recuperate overnight and kick any kind of bugs or things that might be starting to make you sick. So taking a zinc pill at night, like a ZMA or calcium, magnesium, zinc, that will really help with your overall health in general, not just your hair. Eggs contain omega-3s and biotin, but be aware that it's not the healthier, what they put in quotes, healthier, because it's not necessarily healthier for you. They're just less fattening. It's not the healthier egg whites that will make your hair long and beautiful. It's the yolk. Eating too many eating too many egg whites can actually block the absorption of biotin into the body and cause a depletion of your micronutrient. So eating just egg whites actually will jack you up, so don't do that. Sunflower seeds. Just a few little seeds can supply you with an abundance of vitamin E, which will enhance your blood flow to the scalp and promote faster hair growth. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are loaded with beta-carotene, the precursor for vitamin A that not only promotes a healthy scalp, but effectively promotes hair growth too. Avocados contain fatty acids, and when topically applied to the hair and scalp, they have the added ability to stimulate collagen and elastin production. Mix a little avocado with sour cream, which contains lactic acid, to help exfoliate dead skin and clean up the buildup on the scalp, and then apply to your hair and scalp for about 10 minutes before you wash it off. Almonds. These nuts will make your hair grow faster and thicker due to their high biotin content. And then spinach. Spinach and other dark leafy greens like Swiss chard and broccoli contain vitamin A and C, which help your body produce the oils necessary to keep your hair growing healthy and strong. So that's a good thing, because I love eggs and I love all these actually. All these are really good, but I love eggs and broccoli as a breakfast meal. So that's something that I'm going to continuing to do to keep my hair growing good. All right, and the last part of this video that I wanted to go over, just a few hair care tips for you when you actually get your hair a little longer. Mine's still not long. I'm not able to tie it up or anything. And actually, I have to follow some of these tips that I'm going to talk about right now because I haven't started them yet. But the first one is, and this is actually what I'm talking about, use a wooden brush and a wide-toothed wooden comb. So the reason to do that is because the static electricity created from using plastic combs will actually jack up your hair and just cause your hair to be super poofy and weird. That's why my hair's like this right now. I only have a plastic comb. That's the first thing that I have to start is using a wooden brush and comb, and I have them in the mail. They're coming in Amazon right now. Don't ask me why I waited so long, but I actually didn't know that I needed to use wooden until I started researching for this video. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. Use a natural conditioner every time you shower. So what I mean by natural natural is, I know that most shampoos and conditioners have chemicals in them to help them to bind and things like that, but try to get something that has the most pure and close to nature that you can. So things with pure extracts and not chemical additives or scents that are not really or scents and smells that aren't really natural. They're just put in there as chemicals. Try to get things that are actually naturally derived. And there are a lot of options out there for conditioners and for shampoos. Use natural shampoo at your discretion every few days, or one very dirty. Some people say not to wash every day. Some people say it's good to wash every day. For me, my belief personally is that your hair, when you are like me and I don't really do a lot of outdoor stuff, your hair is going to get oils and things like that and dirt, but not as fast as if I was like a farmer in the dirt all the time. So if you're a farmer in the dirt all the time, you might want to shampoo your hair probably every day. If you're someone like me, maybe every 2 days, every 3 days, or every third shower or something like that, because I take like 2 showers a day now. And there's a reason for that. When you take showers, you actually reset your hair's energy and help to get all that energy out of your hair. And some of that energy could be energy from other people's bad vibes. And so when I go to work, or if I go out and I'm around people especially, I will take a shower. But like I said, I won't always use shampoo. I'll just use conditioner every time. I dry my hair, or try to dry your hair naturally in the sun, because when you do that, you prevent headaches. So if you tie your hair up wet and then it starts to dry, it will start to kind of tighten up on your head and give you a headache. For me, I'm not tying it up yet, so I don't have to worry about that, but still dry your hair naturally in the sun because it helps to absorb more vitamin D. Put your hair up in a bun during the day to help protect your hair. Not only will that help with your rishibun, give you more energy, like that little, you see that crystal there? That's not there by accident. That gives me energy and helps me channel when I'm doing these videos. But anyways, when you have your bun, your rishibun, okay, that helps to not only give you energy and stuff like that, but it protects your hair. It keeps it from flopping around and breaking and things like that. Let your hair down at night. You want to let your hair, all that energy that just accumulated in your bun, you want to let that out. You want to wash it with water and, comb it out and with your brush and let it, all the energy kind of flow out of you at night. Style your hair naturally with thick hair ties. Don't use small rubber bands or thin rubber bands that will break your hair. Use thick cloth hair ties and do natural hairstyles. Don't try to do chemicals. Don't use heat. Don't use straighteners. Just be natural with your hair. Don't hurt it. It's your feelers. It's literally like your skin. It's a part of your body. It's a sensory object. Don't kill it. Apply essential oils such as coconut, argan, jojoba, sweet almond, olive, lavender, and lemongrass oil, and especially if you have split ends. So you can mend split ends by applying oils at night to allow them to soak in before you wash it in the morning, and keep your hair protected in a bun during the day. So especially if you have split ends, you want to use that bun in the daytime to protect your hair and to help the oils overnight soak in. So those are some tips. That is why I am growing my hair out. And again, I want to thank you again for joining me for this video. I haven't made one of these videos in a while about health and spirituality, but remember that if you are here on this channel and it's your first time, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can like my video to help with my algorithms and help more people find me and my videos. I make these videos to help humanity and consciousness, and I hope that one day that they reach more people. So please help me in that way. You can also support me with PayPal and Cash App with money so I can keep making more of these videos and improving my craft. And remember that no matter what comes your way, it's going to be a great day. Thanks again for joining me, guys. I'll see you later.